Live from the internet and recorded on this beautiful day of March the 14th, 2019. This is the Crystal Chronicles, your official, unofficial Final Fantasy Dissidia Opera Omnia podcast. My name is not Mark, is not Mino, is not Kriese, is not Manta. It's actually Pierre. I am back from the dark, evil, cold days of not daylight savings to bring you this incredible podcast. This is episode number 46, and I am joined, what would you know, by Mark and Mino. Good evening, gentlemen.
Hello, Pierre. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Glad to have you. Yes, and Star Shadow says Happy Pie Day. So happy Pie Day to both of you, although we're not eating pie on this particular episode.
Did I miss like a pie? Oh, 314. Okay, that kind of pie.
Numerical pie.
That kind of pie.
Yeah.
You had me going for a second.
Yeah, well, it's been a few years since 314-15, so someday.
Yeah. I want to apologize ahead of time for the non-publication of episode 45 on our audio-only stream. Unfortunately, the audio levels were kind of out of whack, and even though we did publish the YouTube version, I took the decision not to publish the audio-only version in podcast format because it was not up to our usual standards, and I am of the opinion that people listen to podcasts, in their cars, in their daily run, walk, all of that, and moving around, playing around with volume button up and down and up and down would probably not have been the best experience for them. So if you're looking for episode 45, it's available on YouTube in our channel, The Crystal Chronicles. There was a show, so it's definitely on there. It was Mino, Mark, and Kriese. It was an incredible show. But out with the old, in with the new. So let's move on to episode 46. Before we get on into the Dissidia Opera Omnia, we do have Dissidia news, and that would be that the Dissidia NT game is now free on Steam and PS4. However, from what I can understand, it is not the complete game because even on Steam you can now shell out a whole bunch of money to get the full, complete experience. So have you guys had a chance to play with it?
I have not. It is the free version, which is like every week you get 4 different characters to play with, and then you can buy them or buy a pack. I haven't.
Okay, it's like Heroes of the Storm kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. There's no solo mode. There's no story mode. It's just for co-op, but we're hoping to download it and maybe stream some among our various hosts. So
yeah, I have it downloaded. I just haven't had time to. It was released only yesterday, that being March 30th, so 13. So yes. There you go. In other news, there are Opera Omnia related news. Other than the fact that Chapter 1 of Arc 2 has been released. Let's see. There's a limited time limited time story gem cell. That's been released with kupo cards and all of these things. So that's where your money goes. That's where you can definitely buy. Is there kupo cards? I thought that was kupo cards.
There has been. Are they still available?
Oh, okay, my bad. So it's only gem chests for now. Yep. And let's see what else. There's Irvine that has been awakened as part of that chapter. So if you've been waiting to have your sexy gun user back in your party, that would be the perfect time to go ahead and boost him up. We'll talk about the sword whip lady in just a couple of minutes. But other than that, what am I missing, guys? What has changed since last show? Anything new? Not all
what
of
has
you at the
changed?
same time, please.
I don't think a lot has changed. Now there was some.
Oh, a couple of bug fixes, I believe.
Yeah, but in the game update on March 14th, it did say other updates, data update for upcoming events. So that's, I'm assuming, just updates and data for Kain and Deuce, probably.
Deuce, what a deuce.
Deuce. We also got this little swirly.
Yeah, what's that all about? Did I miss something?
The swirly swirl.
It takes you straight to
that takes you to.
Nice shortcut.
That is a shortcut to Act 2 or Act 1, I guess.
It's just a shortcut to Event, I think.
Oh no, it brought me to Act 2. I thought it brought me to Act 1. No, yep, there you go. It's hard to see on the camera the difference between Act 2 and Act 1 apparently. Yep, that is a shortcut to Act 2. So how fun is that?
It is pretty fun. Act 2 being called Drawing Chaos. By the way, we're going to talk about that later, but who's the bad guy that we see at the beginning of
Caius.
Act 2? Caius?
Caius.
Is he like from something we should know?
Caius Ballard, or what? Yeah, is that his last name?
He's from Final Fantasy 13-2.
Oh, okay.
There you. I guess they thought 13 didn't have a strong enough villain, so they needed this guy to represent the 13 series.
Caius Ballard. He is the bad guy from Final Fantasy 13-2. And he is not a playable character in Japan as of yet, right?
Right.
Okay. But he will be, I'm sure, someday.
Yeah,
so
probably.
If you're looking at that giant sword he's got and saying, ooh, that's cool, or if you're a big Caius, somebody pronounce the name, Caius, right?
Caius? I think it's Caius. I'm going to go with Caius without looking it up, but
there's no bias on Caius.
They voice it in the game, but I never played the well, I touched the spin-offs. I never finished either of them. I was asking a bunch of questions about him and Hope. Is it Caius? Really?
Yeah, Zero Lancer.
I'm looking this up. Okay, that's it. I'm Googling this now.
Zero Lancer on Twitch says it is pronounced Chaos.
No, he says Caius. Sorry.
Caius.
He corrected himself, and then everyone else corrected him too. So I'm glad.
Caius.
I'm glad. There we go.
So there we go. It is now official. It's called Kain, as per Aminosa. Kain. All right. But before we get into that, there's a quick thing to talk about. The Pandemonium World of Illusion is finally permanent. I know you've all been waiting to get Pandemonium as part of your party. If you missed him, or if he's not fully level up, you can get Pandemonium in your party now. I mean, you could do it right now, or right after this show, or tomorrow, the day after. He's permanent. He's always going to be there for you. So yeah, that's Pandemonium for you.
There are many people that just been on Discord, and we do have a Discord channel.
Oh, we still doing this? I know I missed a couple of weeks, but we're still doing we have a Discord thing.
Not as much, but we do have a Discord, and there is many people that did miss Pandemonium the first time for their launch meta, because Pandemonium is the launch meta summon. So if you did not get him, make sure to go on down. Yeah, because Pandemonium basically gives you extra HP and extra brave during summoning. And once he does wind damage while he's summoned, but once he is summoned, I believe he also makes breaking or launching easier.
During the summon, or once he's been summoned?
During the summon.
Okay. So you got like 5 turns to launch easier.
Yeah, I don't know how it works, but I believe like if you have Lael and friend Lael, that you can just pretty much energy gain during the summon, and they're you don't have to wait a turn in between.
So the guy is like, you know what? I'm just gonna stay up there because it's not worth coming down and up and down and up. I'm just gonna stay up there, do your thing, and kill me.
Launch.
The boss for that World of Illusion is called Archaeo Elvis. And he puts on a mad rock, but anything.
RKO Elvis sounds like a punk tribute band. I don't.
Elvis being dug out of the grave.
Elvis. Yeah. No, this is a level 70 EX battle. It's not very difficult. I brought ridiculous characters. Of course, in World Illusion, everyone's buffed.
So you brought, ridiculous characters, and it was all shook up.
It was all shook up. Hunk of Burning Love.
All right.
House Rock. I don't know. I don't know that many Delvis songs. Dying on the toilet.
You'll notice that Mino is awfully silent. Like that's too old for him. Like he's probably Googling Elvis right now.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Mino, how did you feel about the
RKO Elvis
demon? Well, it's important to know it does not resurrect. Each time you fight it, it's a different wave. So debuffs and stuff do not stick, which makes launch meta, first of all, unnecessary, but makes launch meta not particularly useful because you're not going to be able to keep the debuff from Lael on it.
Yeah. I don't know if this was... is this typical that we get these summon LCs like 6 months after they debut? Probably, but holy crap, was it a joke, right? I think most people were one-shotting it with Vaughn or Squall. And the only thing I remember of this bot, I think he's originally from FF5, right? And then he made a cameo in 10 where he has the same gimmick where he just dies and comes back a ton of times.
Yeah, that sounds right. Definitely in 10.
Yeah, 10, you fight him just twice, I think. Once on the airship, once underground undead.
Yeah, and he's like, well, I know where this is going. I'm out of here.
And then 5, I think, he showed up in 5, and it's the model from 5, and he comes back like 7 times.
Oh, boy. Wait. Stop the press. We've got controversial opinion on Twitch right now. Star Shadow says, launch meta has always been unnecessary. People just like dealing extra damage.
To weigh in on that, I think it's unnecessary because people are proving they can beat content without it. It's just the easiest way. For example, I think I'd rather drive to work than walk 15 miles. It's still doable. It's just easier to it's just easier to do one thing than the other.
Okay. Yeah, no, right. Shara says it's the literally the definition of meta. Right. It is the it is what you can do to make things much easier. And Macnol's work on Reddit of coming up with these video guides and the call to arms, and if you aren't keeping track of that stuff, it's great work, and we thank him for that, and everyone who's doing that as well, because we're finding out that we've been able to beat all of this content since Macnol's done this with pretty creative teams, and some very, very creative teams. But the difference is if you need 175,000 to get the high score, you can probably do 300,000 with launch meta, right? I mean, it's ridiculous. And yes, it is. It's not just about the extra damage that you're doing, which is significant. It's really about the number of turns you're not using, because all of those launch turns are free. And so and you also get bonus because you're launching, because the score is calculated not just by number of turns, but by number of launches. You actually get bonus points for that. So
it gives you a lot of wiggle room. Not everyone's going to be playing the meta of the game or know the game super well. Launch gives you like 5 times the score, so you can take breaks, take HP hits, mess up, still be fine. So of course everyone's going to default to it.
Yeah, I mean, Macnol says on Twitch, it's certainly the cheapest way to make sure you can beat the highest scores if you don't have bajillions, that's a currency somewhere, to spend on gems and get everyone max limit broke. Yeah, I mean, it's, the launch meta as it stands right now does not require EX weapons. It does not require, it requires 2 story characters and some wiggle room with that. Right, you definitely Lael, but it requires things you can get now with tokens, with the token shops. If you're around for anniversary, you could have used anniversary tokens for it. So it's stuff that most of us probably have. or were able to get, or if you don't, you're going to be able to get fairly easily. But it's all about how you play the game. If you don't have a lot of time, it's I've had a terribly busy week. I was out of town for several days at a conference, and I've put in probably over 50 hours, and it's Thursday. I've not had a lot of time to play the game. If I was, the clock was ticking and I needed to, beat the content, I could just rush through it, make sure I got my 500 gems, be on my way. Or I can, realize I have that if I need it, but play around with different things like I just did before the show. The current EX that we're going to talk about, I ran it through 2 or 3 times with different teams, and that's fun. It's fun to do different things and see if you can get the high score, and not just immediately go launch meta and then be done. But enjoy the game that you actually are playing.
So. Yeah. Oh, just the last note is that there's always a meta. You can always say like, oh, well, you didn't need Awaken Terra for the last few months, or you didn't need Cloud EX or Saws. Like it's true, but it just makes things so much easier. Why would people not do it?
Good question. Before we move along, I just want to take a second, and I'm sure the guys will join me on that, to congratulate our good friend Broadway Saying on the new addition to the family. His wife had a cute little baby boy, I believe 2 or 3 days ago. So congratulations, man. I think it's his second kid, first kid, second kid.
First.
This is their
first kid. Oh boy, my poor man.
Yep.
You have no idea what you're getting into. There was a time where you had the life. Well, that's gone, like forever, at least for a couple of years. But no, seriously, congratulations, my friend, and all the best to you, your wife, and the little boy. So.
Yeah.
All right, and a good segue. Let's move on to Drawing Chaos, the first chapter of Arc 2 of DFFOO, aka let's give you one character and a whole bunch of stages to go through. So this introduced 7, which somehow is not called Set, because I know they have like French names for certain of these characters.
Yeah.
7, they decide to stay English.
7 and 8, they
Ace,
like
Ace, Deuce.
Deuce, yeah.
Ace, Deuce. It's not Trois.
It's Trey, I think. Yeah, it's Trey.
Trey.
Cater.
So none of them are French. What the hell am I? Oh, Cinq. Cis?
No,
Sice.
No,
Sice. I don't know what language that is. 7, 8.
7, 8.
Neuf.
I think no 9 as well.
9.
7, 8, 9.
9. This. All right.
Oh, so, and then.
King,
no,
Queen.
There should be a 10.
Well, no, 10 and Joker are NPCs, Jack. I think. Oh, Jack. Oh, was Jack playable?
I don't know.
Okay.
And yeah, so there's 7. There's Irvine that gets his awakening. We've mentioned that earlier. Speaking of Irvine, is he getting anything fancy, or is he just bench warmer?
Irvine gets a crystal awakening to level 60. Woohoo!
Very standard stuff.
And since Kriese didn't write a review for it,
I know, what a slacker.
He gets let's see, his level 54 is buffed attack boost, slightly raised max brave attack with active buffs. That's nice, always. His 55 is canister shot extension. Canister shot gets +3 uses. Woohoo! And when using canister shot, does more damage, triggers an HP attack if brave is at least 80% of brave. Then he gets at 58 buff attack speed, which means he gets more attack and speed with active buffs, which is again good, and but not great. I mean, it helps obviously. And then scatter shot extension, more brave damage, moderately increases brave damage when attacking a single target, moderate range resist down hit rate boost, so his resist range debuff increases and gives himself a 5-turn physical attack up 1. So I don't think anybody's writing home about Irvine yet, right? Or there was a time when he I thought in his era, I thought in his era he was used a little bit in Japan, but I'm not particularly impressed.
Not really, because there's far less range characters than melee characters compared to Orin, his counterpart, and he doesn't have the guaranteed uptime that Orin has with the EX. No recycling, and also it's just whatever it's burst damage, right? It's just going to be a couple of turns of ranged imperil. There's no way you're going to keep that up the entire time for an EX fight, or as things get harder, heretics, etc. So he runs out of steam really quickly, and you have to build around him, which is always harder. Like what range characters do we have right now that are super strong awakened?
Yeah, we have. I know this because there's been some ranged weak bosses that I brought characters to. We have Laguna, we have Waka, we have Setzer. That's kind of our big, and Vincent. Is Ace range? Ace is magic, right?
Yeah, Ace is magic. Oh, someone said Noctis. That's true. Zero Lancer.
Oh, Noctis does. Yeah, Noctis does range damage too. So I mean, there are some options.
That's true. Kain's coming out. He's the biggest range damage.
Kain is going to have some big range damage, right?
But the reason I said that he wasn't valued was because it's not going to last the whole fight. It's considered burst damage.
Right.
Like you could pull him in as an assist, get those debuffs in, do pretty much the full damage. Yeah. So that's nice. But as a strong character, not really. And he finished 60 near the bottom too. Sadly, the 60 era.
Yeah, poor
Irvine.
Poor Irvine.
So who's the third wheel again on that banner?
Rem.
Yeah, it's Rem.
We do need to talk about Rem's. We haven't talked about 7 yet, right?
Right.
No, we'll get to her after. I just want to clear like the bench warmers.
We need to talk about Rem's EX. So, Mino, have you been pulling for Rem's EX? Weren't you looking at this?
So the people following me in the Discord chat, literally hours before it dropped, I read the description of the weapon again, and I completely misread it before. So I went to do a complete 180 from saying I'm going all in on this weapon. I saved 75k gems to I don't want this weapon at all now. So we'll describe the weapon. Do you have the description in front of you, Mark?
Yeah. 2-hit AoE Magic Brave plus HP attack, 300%. 100% HP damage dealt to all enemies. Low action delay greatly restores all party members' HP based on HP damage dealt, up to 20% of their max HP. Upon recovering HP, if the healing amount exceeds target's max HP, the excess is converted to Brave, as is pretty common. Grants Siphon for 1 turn. Moderately raises attack for 5 turns. Siphon, skill cost becomes 0. Recast speed, crazy fast. And then with its limit break, slightly raised Brave damage dealt with Siphon Delta. Limit break 2, moderately increased Brave damage dealt to a single target. And limit break 3 slightly raises the recast speed of Siphon Delta.
Right. So what I misread, because Rem recently had her 70 awakening in Japan. And I think I got it confused with that, where I thought the EX after use, it would give her a free turn, like Realm had. But what it does instead is give her a free ability charge.
Yeah, that's not good
because Rem has always been considered her biggest weakness is when she swaps turns. You're using 2 turns to have somebody else
that's
go.
right.
So if it was a free turn and she was able to let someone else go without spending an extra turn, I would take that in a heartbeat. And that's what I thought it was first, a few days before it dropped. But it's just a free ability charge, which means she's going to be eating up even more turns with more ability swaps. But this EX is a really, really good one. It does a little bit of everything. First of all, if you don't count Tidus's super early weapon, no, it should have been out by now. Oh no, we're behind on awakenings though, right? Yeah, this in Japan was the first weapon that did 100% AoE damage, I believe, because in Japan, Fang event came out a little after Act 2, Chapter 1, and it turns Rem into one of the best magic damage dealers we have. The potency is super huge. It also heals, AoE batteries. You know, it does a little bit of everything. It does everything, and it charges in 2 ability uses, so it's super strong. But she's still gonna eat those turns with swap turns, and cure is pretty much useless, to be honest. So,
But you're saying that when she gets like her 70 rework, she gets like the free turn thing?
yes, on her rework, swap turns doesn't cost a turn anymore.
And that's going to be a major game changer in terms of how useful she is, right?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
There still are a lot of Rem fans who are going to argue she's still a really good character. You know, I'm not going to deny that. It's just that if you can work around the extra turn on swap turn, sure. And it's probably good for setting up launches too, you know. But, I mean, a lot of people are going to defend her. I still wouldn't personally use her. I don't know if you guys would, if you drew the X.
I have both of her weapons that I still have not max limit broke, so.
They'll tell you. I mean, the guy's trashing power orbs.
CSAM, who just subscribed to us on Twitch Prime, thank you for the subscribe, says she got me through 111, which we're going to talk about later. So that's interesting.
Yeah, like she is going to be I think the strongest magic damage dealer right now. And to clarify, Star Shadow says, isn't Ace the best magic DPS at 70? Right now, yes, but we're talking about in global right now at 60. Rem is the strongest magic DPS until Kuja comes.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
Which hopefully will be soon. Something did we say that originally in Japan this banner had shadow on it?
We didn't say it, but you brought it up now. So.
Yeah.
Did it?
Yeah. In Japan, Arc 2 Chapter 1 had shadow on it. So we have been replaced with Irving, and Irving was awakened because he was one of our characters yet to be awakened. So we are now back, if you're following along at home, we are now back to basically having just 2 waves left of awakenings. So we will eliminate an entire wave of awakenings, potentially more. If they keep awakening characters on banners like they have been. If not, we're probably just going to get 2 more waves of awakenings and just skip 1. So we will have 1 less wave of awakenings than Japan did.
Awesome.
So overall, it went a lot faster for us.
By a few weeks, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, right. We'll be a month ahead in awakenings, or what I think is going to happen basically is we'll have another month of everyone being fully awakened to level 60 before 70 comes.
I mean, sadly, the last wave of awakenings is just so weak and irrelevant because that's when the new meta was creeping in, and you know they got ignored, they got shoved out immediately. It's like the last. I think we were talking about this last week. Is the last wave before any power creep is just the most useless wave. Just like the last characters that released Sari, Zac, and Rydia before Awakenings, before 60 era, they just saw no use. And the last wave of Awakenings, like Saw's Awakening, Yuffie Awakening, you know, they're just not gonna do anything. Sadly,
if you're not familiar with which story characters or previously unawakened event characters that are left on our thing are Vanille, Edge, Galoff, Belthier, King, Aiko, Seymour, Zaz, Cypher, Yuffie, Raijin, Kang, Lilizet. Yeah. So yeah, and in Japan, the last wave of awakenings was Zaz, Cypher, Yuffie, all red, Raijin, Yang, Lilizet, all yellow or all orange or yellow, whatever color that is.
Yeah, and you never heard from them again.
Yeah, poor Lilizet.
All right, let's talk about Mambo number 7.
7.
So I haven't.
Well, our good friend Kriese did do a review on 7, so you can check out Xerink's review on Reddit of 7, but
which we'll link in the show notes.
Sure, yeah, but I'll do what Kriese has been doing lately, which I really liked, is instead of reading the skill abilities, we'll just give a really brief overview, and then you can check out his guide if you want a more in-depth go. But 7's a very interesting character. I remember I was talking to Kriese. I like the design concept, but power-wise, she is questionable. So her first move is a big brave shave that just like I need a new term for these moves because they all do it. Irvine's new move and this one where once they hit 80% max brave, they'll do a brave plus HP, right? It'll instead of a brave shave, it turns into brave plus HP. For her, her first move, she needs to hit 100%. So like Kate Sith. So it's a brave shave that needs to hit 100%, and it applies her unique debuff of Snake Bite, which is a unique debuff that lowers defense by a set amount every time. Can stack up to 3 times. I don't have the numbers in front of me, Mark, but I think it's 10%, 25%, 50%.
That is correct.
Oh, nice, great. Damn, I'm on fire tonight. But anyway, so 50% unique defense debuff is pretty big. You stack that with Zell's, what, 60? You know, that's a lot. And so what that does is it fuels her second ability, which is Elemental Lash. And Elemental Lash, I was gushing over. I don't know if Kriese is impressed, but it hits 3 different elements: fire, lightning, and is it ice, Mark?
Fire, ice, and lightning. Yep.
Yes, perfect. So what we did research is apparently if one of those elements hits a weakness on an enemy, it nullifies any resistances and immunities. So if an enemy is immune to lightning and ice but weak to fire, it'll do full weakness damage.
Oh, that's cool.
Right? That's
Does
really
it do bonus weakness if they are weak to multiple elements?
No, it will not.
Don't push your luck, buddy.
Just asking for a friend.
That's really cool, right? And I think to this day, even in Japan, it's the only move that has triple element. So it will hit a lot of weaknesses, and it's very hard to resist. And I wish there are more moves like this. And I was telling Kriese that I think it's a very cool move because she doesn't need a rework to be good. There's so many different imperilers and enchanters that she can pair up with to be good, right? Like any fire, like just throw in Vincent, any ice imperiler. We don't have one yet, but there's like the more characters they release that work with those elements, the better she'll be. She doesn't really need a rework from scratch like a lot of the other characters. I think she'll scale well. But what Kriese says, her cons are that she has very low ability uses. And she will not last in a sustained fight. And we have some confirmations of this from people who used her, is that she does massive damage if you're hitting one guy over and over, and it's a short fight. But because her unique debuff wears off as soon as she puts it on somebody else. So you need to be hitting the same guy for several turns, and it's for burst. So Kriese, I think, said she's better off as an assist if you really want to use her, but not something that's going to be great for us in these fights that get longer and longer.
Well, you have to apply the snake bite 3 times, right, to get the full debuff. Yeah. So and you got 5 uses of catch and lash and 7 uses of Elemental Lash, which looks awesome, by the way. You know, her animations are amazingly cool. But and she would have really benefited from a EX on launch. I think would have made her much cooler.
Slow burn character like Palom and other, they get crazy powerful, but the build up time is just not worth. Oh, Onion Knight, right? Yeah.
I mean, potentially, if you have the right, with Kate Sith, potentially she could do the overflow every turn with Snake Bite, because that can be an HP attack as long as she maxes out. So you would need to order your turns right, and then have somebody like Garnet to give you the resist down or empower thunder, enchant thunder, which Garnet can do both of those things.
Like I said, I'm a big fan of the kit. I think it's good game design and it makes you think about your choices, but she's just not meta strong.
Yeah. No, like I said, I think we would probably be looking at her a little bit more seriously if she had a EX that paired with some of this stuff, because then she'd probably be pretty much playable. Does she have an EX in Japan?
Nope.
I don't think so.
Nope.
She hasn't even been reworked in Japan, correct?
She had a 70 awakening. I think she was
She
the
did.
first wave.
Okay.
And just like everyone's, so JP opinion of her on 60 launch and 70 launches, she's decent. You can make her work, but you know, she's not. I know everyone who plays this game apparently only cares about the meta, as we've seen with the launch meta and stuff. So
All right.
She was not in the first. She was in the second wave though.
yeah, very early, very early.
That is early. Yeah.
Speaking of EX and weapons and all of that, let's go over the banner real quick. So there's the I don't think there's anything new for Irvine. Then there's
his 35 and his 15.
So there's the sword whips for 7, and there's Aces EX skippable banner, you guys.
Yeah, pretty skippable.
I mean, if you're a big Type 0 fan, then and you want Rems EX and you like 7, then why not? You know,
pretty damn.
You got 75,000 gems burning a hole in your pocket.
I did throw 110 tickets at it though, but
Did you get anything?
No, I didn't get anything.
I will say I am glad we got a free 15 CP for her.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wish they would give us. Does she have armor? Does she have 4-star armor?
You have to buy. No. She doesn't have anything. The only way she's ever going to get armor is if you buy it from.
So are we done with 4-star armor?
Yes, we are forever. 4 stars are done forever. 4-star weapons and armors.
So I can just work on max limit breaking all of the 4 stars that I have. I'm not going to have to worry about getting more. So
yeah,
but that does kind of suck because I do like I have many of the story characters with their 4-star armor fully limit broke, and she doesn't have like any armor. And I've been using old armors that I don't have people using to like just level up other armor.
Just throw 5 tokens at it, yeah.
Yeah, well, that's what I might do because thankfully I had Lilizette's armor laying around still. So, but yeah, I mean, I almost will just need to buy one and just go through it. I am sitting at like 300 armor tokens.
Wow.
Did you pull on this banner?
I have not pulled on anything recently.
Yeah, I'm getting a little itchy, my pull finger. How about you, Pierre? Did you pull?
I only pulled a couple tickets. I got a second sword whip 15 CP. So
nice.
That was it.
I think 110 tickets. I MLB'd Irvine and Rem.
Nice.
And MLB'd the 15 for 7 and got 2 of the 35s. So it's okay, but again, this isn't the best banner. I kind of regret my decision. I should have went all in on Kain coming Sunday.
Yeah, I don't have Irvine 35. I don't have Rem's weapons MLB'd. I obviously don't have Seven's weapons MLB'd. I don't have Rem EX, so it's not a terrible banner for me. But I'm down. I don't have any tickets because I've been wasting my tickets. So I'm at like 33 tickets, and we still have Deuce and Kain. So I might wait for a Deuce banner because I don't have like anything on that banner, and that is potentially Ace EX, correct?
Yes, which is more. Pretty good. Actually, that's probably the best banner this month. But you know me, I'm just gonna dump everything into Kain this Sunday. So
dump everything.
I'll see you on the other side.
See you on the other side.
All right. Let's talk real quick about the story. Have you guys had a chance to complete the second arc?
I have.
I have not finished it, but I have started it, and I will live through spoilers.
Okay, are we?
Yeah.
Are we okay
so spoilers, guys. Spoilers, people. If you don't like this, unfortunately, I can't read into the future, so I can't tell you to fast forward X amount of minutes. But yeah, spoilers. So Mino, what's happening?
Oh man! So I've actually started reading the text for the game now.
Oh shit, that's right, because you usually don't. So it's a surprise you can tell us anything.
That's how interesting this chapter has been. And even though it focused on 2 games I don't like, I still found the story interesting. So I think the story is getting better. To preface this, I was talking to Macnol the other day on our Discord about it too, because he was like, "Oh, I wish there would be more random interactions in the game, and I felt like this chapter had a lot of not, first of all, all the chapters from here on out in Act 2 have a focus. They focus on a game. This one was 13 and Type 0 because Type 0 wasn't important enough to get its own chapter. They had to tag along on 13.
Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. And,
it's just weird that 13 with 2 sequels was not important enough to get its own chapter.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, I understand for Type 0, but they had other loser Final Fantasies they could have tagged along with it. But anyway, I'm derailing.
And the funny thing is, later, certain games get 2 chapters as well, multiple chapters.
Burn. Hey,
like
we popped up 2 sequels. We're thankful for your money, but oh, hell no, we're not going to put any more effort in this.
But yeah, so there's the interactions are getting better, I think. But basically, every cutscene will focus around either a FF13 or Type 0 character, and with other people interacting with them, which is
gotta
nice.
give them credit though. They flat out Mog at the first cutscene, so.
Oh, right. So no more yeah. You see very little Mog in this chapter, which is another big bonus for a lot of people.
It's like kupo die.
I don't know what they mean by let's put him someplace safe. Like, did they like bury him in a cave? I assume what happened. This is my theory. So you can all of you Redditors can just go on your conspiracy rants here. But my theory is they put Mog in Cater's bag.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
That's got to be the safest place because she's never going into battle.
Write this guy a check, Square Enix. but so there's a new theme with Arc 2. Arc 1 was very boring. I think it was just recruiting characters and closing torsions. That was the entire story. It was super, super boring. Arc 2 has a much more interesting theme they're kicking off, which is they're going to restore everyone's full memories to when they completed their game. So all of these stories are taking place post-game, which I think everybody wanted, right? You want to see all these characters and how they grew after their game. So this one was about FF13 characters getting all their memories back. And lo and behold, Mark, I don't know if you got far enough, I was saying in chat, and when I watched it on my phone, I was so happy. Who's the very first person to get their full memories back? It is Hope. Hope is leading the entire charge on restoring his memories.
And all of that just to realize, shit, my memories are crap. I was happier before.
So
how's that going?
To recap the so I didn't play any of the 13 spin-offs to completion, so I had to ask people in Discord for a lot of questions. I don't know if you guys did either, but
just before you start that, Rayo Mux on Twitch is saying he thinks they lumped Type 0 and 13 together because Type 0 was supposed to be part of the 13 series of games.
See, Raymux, that's what I thought too. Like, I thought they shared the same universe. I thought that's what they were supposed to be. But Caius comes in and says, oh, your world is very similar to ours, but it's different. Right. So, like, I was like, does that mean they're officially not part of the same universe? Because I thought they were supposed to be. They're like, oh, the Lucy in your universe are different from the Lucy in ours. And it's like, okay.
Well, I gotta give him credit for that. Your country is very similar to my country, but it's so different at the same time. And yet we're all in the same universe.
Oh, yeah. You know what?
It's true.
That's
true.
For those of you listening at home, I'm Canadian and my co-hosts are Americans. So.
But to be fair, that's like saying, hey, cars in my country are way different than what cars are in your country. Because Lucy are like these beings in the world. I don't know.
No, you're not. We're not going down the rabbit hole of trying to explain what the hell is going on in Final Fantasy 13. We're fair. Not going
you're
there.
100% right. Let's avoid that. So anyway, so Caius comes in. Anyone more familiar from the FF13-2 plot will know this, but I don't. But he comes in. He has all his memories. He says he finds out that the Type 0 people forget things when they're forgotten when they die, right? That's the whole gimmick in Type 0. So he says, that's interesting. I want to take that mechanic and apply it to my world. And he's like, oh, there's these little planesgorger babies that are like, this is a place where all the universes merge. I'm gonna help the planesgorgers open rifts into my world so I can merge the two worlds, so that when people in FF13 world die, they'll also forget, because apparently he committed some atrocity that wrecked time in the FF13 world and made Lightning a knight of the goddess, as he says. And he's like, oh, I've caused so much pain and suffering. I'm sorry, guys. To make up for it, I'm going to make sure everyone loses their memories so they don't remember all the horrible things that happened.
I'm
So
sure Hope would be on board with that.
Yeah, right. So that's his villainous plan for this chapter. And everyone's trying to stop him, and the 13 characters regain their memories along the way. And I think that's the theory going forward. That's what every chapter is going to be. Each game character is going to start regaining their memories, and this is really interesting because Hope is the first one to get his memory back, and immediately he's like, "Oh wait, I'm actually an adult, guys." He's like, "I chose this child form because that's the last time I saw lightning, which was the happiest time in my life." And I was like, "Wait, so is there? Am I missing something from not playing the spin-offs? Did Hope have a crush on Lightning or something? Like, was it so important? Why is Lightning so important? He wanted to retain his child form because it reminds him of when he was last with Lightning." Very interesting. If you could shed some light on that, Mark, the Hope expert.
Hope grows up and goes to the academy of something or other, and Lightning is gone at that point, and everyone is sad, something like that. I don't quite know the timelines of 13.2 and 13.3, and I kind of get them confused. But at some point, Hope grows up, and I think at the same time, Lightning is no longer there, and that makes him sad because he does love the Lightning.
Hang on, Harriet29 says,
if you want to learn more about that, you can Google Hope Lightning fan fiction, and
nope, don't.
That's a dark hole that you can go down.
Don't listen to Mark. He's wrong about Hope. I don't know either way because I don't play the games. I don't plan to. Harriet29 says, quote unquote, I chose this child form for plot convenience. That's a very good explanation. But by the end of the chapter, they all the 13 cast regains their memories. And Lightning remembers her fate. Everyone remembers what happens to them. And they kind of have a little interaction with Caius. It's really interesting that Caius is acting on motivations from after his game. So that's the worst chapter out of the way first. And then moving forward, they hint the next one. Well, we already know because of JP, but the next one is going to be FF4 oriented.
Yeah, FF4, yeah.
Yeah, because Golbez is saying now it's time for Cecil to get his memory back. And spoiler alert, in the JP version, the next one is when Golbez makes Cecil climb Mount Ordeals again to become a paladin. And we get Paladin Cecil as a new story chapter. We get Kain LC. We get Rosa event. And then, it's just every month from here on out is just completely focused on an FF, which is pretty nice.
All right. So how does it end? Like, beside the fact that they get their memory, do they kick like Caius' ass or?
Yeah, they beat him up, but then he joins the League of Supervillains. Garland's team. He's like, the villains are like, let's all team up and mess things up. They beat him up. They get their memories, and then Golbez like, all right, my turn next. Apparently their airship's permanently downed, so Golbez gives them a new one. So maybe we'll see a new, cooler airship in the future. And Golbez is saying that he's up next to help Cecil get his memory back.
Because brother love.
Yes.
Cool. What's wrong with the hard mode in that chapter?
Oh, right. Okay. So, Mark, it's 111. I think.
It is 111, and the bosses are the 3 nightmare riding knights. I forget what their technical terms are, but we got some new PUDs, new mobs in this chapter. One of them is called General, and it looks like a knight, and the other one is Nightmare, and it's a flaming horse of death. But yeah, the one in part 11. Yep, if I pull it up here. is Knight Carrying Death, and the enemy is called Death Rider. There we go.
So exclusive, really obscure DFFOO trivia here. So there was a huge stink about it this morning. Our data mining resident hero Rem dug in and discovered the mystery and cleared everything up. So for everyone that doesn't know, which is probably a lot because not everyone hangs around the subreddit Discord, Rem says that they reused that wave of the 3 knights in a future chapter. What level is this fight, Mark?
I don't have hard mode unlocked, so you'll have
okay,
to
but I
look
think
for
it's
me.
it's low. I think it's 70 or 90. And in the future, this same wave gets put into a future chapter that's 110 or 120 difficulty, where they scale the knights way up. And apparently in Japan, when they scaled those knights up in that chapter, it messed with this fight too. I don't know how programming works, but is like a copy and paste error, Pierre? Do you have any insight on this?
I wouldn't know, quite frankly.
Yeah, it seems like it would be strange for it to. But anyway, yeah, something screwed up.
Right. Yeah. So they took that wave, they tuned it up, put it in another chapter. It affected this wave, and then they quickly fixed it afterwards as well. So it launched fine. It was broken after an update. Then they updated again to fix it. Apparently, the global version got some version in between that, and we just got the messed up version. So, doesn't bode well for us. I'm sure Square Enix is scrambling off their asses to fix this.
They did acknowledge it on the live stream today, correct?
Oh, I didn't watch the whole thing, so
I thought someone said they acknowledged it, that Square Enix Joshua acknowledged it on the live stream and said that they are looking into it and hopefully going to fix it. It is beatable though, right? It's not like
it's beatable, but you can't complete it. So
Hera 29 says it's a global exclusive.
It's a global. Please, can we? That has to be a meme. Someone has to post it on Reddit, or it's going to be a running joke here from now on. But here's our second global exclusive. So originally these guys were tuned, I think, level 70. They had 75k HP. This was supposed to be a walk in the park on JP launch. Now they have 500k HP. Rem dug in. They have way stronger stats, and the target turn is 60. There's a competition online right now in Macnol's post. I put it out as what's the lowest turn count you can get for this fight? And I'm really interested to see people do it. But the lowest possible turn count I've seen so far is 85.
Wow.
And the cap is 60. So if you want to have fun, like if you can't say dead game anymore, this is almost intentional. Like you can't say dead game anymore because now you have to race for the lowest turn count in this fight. This impossible to beat fight, and people are saying that they're getting 3 times the score requirement, but they just can't make the turn requirement. So it's pretty interesting. It'll be fun.
But yeah, go ahead, Mark.
We got a share from who just shared it. Tatsumix shared on YouTube. They're clear. 94 turns, got the score clear. No KOs. Take less damage. They were fine. But yeah, clear under 60 turns they could not get. They did it in 94 with looks like Rem with EX, Titus, Beatrix, and Squall. So
I think the best, yeah, that's like the best comp I see is the 85. I forget the exact team, but he also had Rem EX and Titus EX because you got that 100% AOE going on all the time, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
So is it just me, or since the last major game update, it's been bug after bug after bug? I mean, it seems to be like the buggiest the game has been since
it's really
launch.
Buggy. I'm upset because I can't batch download. Every time I try, it crashes. So when I was playing through this chapter, I had to constantly update,
which is super annoying.
Yeah.
Huh. Well, good luck, and maybe it will get fixed. And then if it does get fixed, then we'll all complain that it's not challenging, right?
Yep. We'll be back to dead game.
I think somebody on Discord said this is a early preview of Cosmos. This is early Cosmos mode for anybody who wants to try it.
Without level 70s, without great. Awesome. Early Cosmos.
Star Shadow on Twitch says no bugs, just features.
Yeah, this is a feature. It's a impossibly hard, random, non-EX, non-special battle, just preventing us from getting 1,000.
Aminosa says, my game crashes every time I go to the friends list. Can't accept co-op requests. Wow, that's a huge bug, Aminosa. I would demand apology gems for that.
But please demand it for everyone.
And Harriet29 says, wait until they accidentally upload chaos data next month when the patch goes live.
Wow. All right, let's move on to co-op and level 100 EX battle.
I did that.
You did those.
I didn't do co-op yet, but I did do the EX battle.
You want to walk us through the EX?
What's the co-op consist of? It's multi-wave co-op, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's the same as the EX, but toned down. So I think the first wave is 2 of those metallic behemoths.
Yeah.
And then it ends with
Right. So if you don't know, we got a special event called Forgotten City that goes along with this. The first one is a level 50 co-op, which you can just solo easily enough. And you get to bring all of the chapter characters plus the other weekly banner characters, which include who's on the weekly banner?
Jekt, Tidus, and Shadow, which I'm super happy about.
Jekt, Tidus, and Shadow. They are all synergy in this co-op and in this event. The co-op is 2 waves. It is the behemoth, 2 behemoths, 2 night behemoths, who are weak to range, wind, lightning, and fire. So have fun with that. That's like half the place can kill them. And then you have a Cavalier, which is weak to ice and buffs itself up. And you have a Greatest Marlboro, which is weak to fire, absorbs ice, weak to thunder, absorbs rock, weak to earth, weak to holy, weak to dark. And remember, the greatest Marlboros don't do bad breath. They do a whole bunch of other like little statusy things, but it's not like, oh, I got to bring Yuna. You don't have to bring Yuna. It's fine. Just come in and kill it. They'll be dead really quick. I haven't done it, but I would assume, given the difficulty of the level 100, that you can probably bring a fast summon. And since one of these is weak to wind, right? Is one of these weak to wind?
I don't know.
No. The behemoths are, but none else is. Yeah. And if you have Tidus's EX, it's a great time to bring Tidus out because he does tons of damage when he's synergy.
Oh yeah, star of the run, I think. But yeah. I think this is the perfect co-op because I want all co-ops to be like this, where the featured characters can outdamage the meta characters. You bring a geared out Jekt or a geared out Shadow, and they're slaughtering.
Oh yeah, Shadow can do good damage.
Yeah, they're slaughtering any of your meta characters like Lael, Kate Sith, or Beatrix. So I'm saying, like, it's easy, it's fun because there's a wide variety of synergies, and they all perform much better than meta characters. And that's how all co-ops should be, where you want to use the boosted characters, and they are the best option.
All right.
So that does bring us to the EX battle, right?
Yeah. Yep. That's your moment to share your hard-earned knowledge.
It is 3 waves. The first wave is, I believe, the hardest, or just the most annoying because it takes the most turns. That is a commander beast with 2 worker beasts, and he buffs and he also resummons. So ideally, you want to kill him before he resummons. Or else you just be taking extra turns. They're not weak to anything. They don't really do much, but he has tons of HP or tons of defense. I'm not really sure. I think it's just tons of HP. Very truthfully, I don't have the numbers in front of me to know, but that took pretty much the most of any of the runs. And the second one is 2 night behemoths, similar to what they are in co-op, and then the third one is a Cavalier, the knight-looking thing, and a Greatest Marlboro. I did it 3 runs right before we streamed. I did my Squall, Aura, and Selfie team and got about 125,000 with all the score requirements cleared, all of the regular requirements cleared. Then I came back, and that was a little over because I ran out of abilities with Squall, so that was kind of awful. So that was like 70-something turns. Then I went back and I did my Magic team of Beatrix, Selfie, and Garnett. And I did that in under 60 turns, 59 turns for 139,000. So I just missed the 170,000 you need for all the things. So then I went back with Titus, who is Synergy, and Orin and Kate Sith with friend Squall, I believe. Yeah, friend Squall, and I got 180,000 with 50 turns. So. Did not need to utilize the launch meta, but if you want to use the launch meta, you're going to get about a bajillion points because you're going to be able to kill that stupid wolf tons faster than I did.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking 20, 25 turns to kill that stupid wolf, unless you're bringing launchers.
And again, I want to stress that I just think this is like the best event we've ever had. I just talked about the co-op being super beneficial to the synergies. A lot of people are saying this EX has been super easy with just a single synergy as well. People taking either Shadow or Seven or Jet, and you took Titus. Everyone's just taking synergies here and there, and they're able to get the score with work. The launch doesn't get that much higher than the score. Maybe there's some crazy people out there. From what I've seen, so launch meta first try, I got about 180k. I've seen people hit like 200k, a little over, but most people are getting the 180 easy with just a synergy character throwing in Shadow or Seven.
A loaded Mick on Twitch says I ran Jet, Rem, and Titus for 191,000. So
yeah,
awesome.
The synergies, like I said, I don't know what they did, but the synergies really stand out in this event in both the EX and the co-op, and that's how you try to brainwash people that characters are good. Like people who don't do any research will probably love Seven now. So I'm saying this is the level of balance I think the game should always be at.
All right.
Awesome.
I think that pretty much covers it. As we discussed earlier, there was a Square Enix no info stream today that, low info, should we say. They played pretty much NT and Opera Omnia, but nothing major was announced on there besides the fact that they would do another stream just before AdPAX.
Yes.
Yeah. Which Shara before stream says is the 25th. They will do a new update stream.
So, and the current event calendar we have goes until March 21st. So
we might be
yeah, Mino was already getting anxious at the fact that we might be going like a Sunday without an event. So
I can't take it. We have so much content lined up.
What will we do? They did announce that they are giving away pins at packs of our co-op emojis. One of them being son of a sub, and one of them being Mog saying something Pierre thinks was kupo. And I think that may be right. So that was the announcement.
Yeah, I was looking at the Penny Arcade website earlier, and unfortunately, because usually Gabe will post pictures of the upcoming pins, but unfortunately, there's nothing on there yet. So
come on, Gabe.
Yeah, I know.
CSAM DFFOO says Mino just get score on 111. No more dead game until complete. That's a good point. You reminded me. I wanted to say something. Who was it earlier? I want to say it's Star Shadow said earlier on the stream that you don't need launch meta. Who was it that said that?
Someone said launch meta was irrelevant or something like that.
Yeah. Well, whoever said, sorry if we don't remember, whoever said you don't need launch meta. See, the reason I use launch meta is so that I could clear the EX in one try and dedicate all my time trying to clear 111. That's you gotta breeze through the filler and get to the real
That's
content.
right. The real content.
See, I'm the type
111.
I'm the type of guy who eats my least favorite food first and then finishes on
That's
my
right.
favorite food in a meal.
That's right. I fill up on broccoli, then
You're
I
too
have-
full for steak.
then I can't eat anymore. I said, "Oh, pound of broccoli." That ribeye is going to have to wait. But my question was, because Mino had talked about wanting more streams. So my question was, is that the kind of stream you want in between informational streams, or
Hell no. If anything,
What
they
are you
made me
looking
not
for?
want to try NT because they made it look so bad. I hate NT, but that's another time. Me and Monta will do a drunk stream on it. I promised him.
Yeah.
Well, here's the thing. The job I'm at right now has a PS4, and when I joined last October, I actually, once I realized they had a console, I actually bought NT for, to try it, and it's not a really good game. I gotta tell you, it's not a really good game. I'm gonna try it on PC.
I played it. Yeah, I've played it. It's terrible.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it on PC. It's not like I'm any good at fighting games, but that looked like a fighting game. It's kind of like their card game. It looked like something that could have been fun, but then somebody stupid came along and made it like overly complicated for nothing.
Yeah,
So.
and on the opposite end of the spectrum, I also hate it as somebody who plays a lot of fighting games and follows the esports scene, is that it is not balanced at all. And I could go on a whole rant about it, but this is a Opera Omnia stream. But I would.
Oh, come on. You can
I'm,
do 2-3
yeah?
minutes. We've got 2-3 minutes to spare. Go ahead.
Okay.
It'll
2-3
make you feel
minutes is
better.
that you can't combo in that game. They built it. They said they built it. It's 3-on-3. And what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to hit somebody, and then your teammate's supposed to follow up and hit somebody. And that's how combos are supposed to work. But by yourself, you can't do anything. And that really sucks when let's say you join a random lobby online, and there's no voice chat. How are you going to have that level of coordination? It's almost impossible. And as you've seen on the stream, what play usually devolves into is everyone throwing projectiles at each other until somebody gets hit, and then and then they dogpile onto the one person and do the HP attacks, and then game over. And that's basically all the play. And if you look up any NT tournament on YouTube, I guarantee you'll see the same. It's terrible to look at. They're switching targets every 3 seconds to make sure they're not jumped, and whenever they're hit, it's by something off screen they couldn't see coming, which I just think is terrible gameplay.
Another thing is that the combat stages are so freaking huge that at some point, if you get left behind, you're just going to spend so much time just like running, trying to find someone to hit.
That's true. That's so true. You've played it, Pierre, right? Like, did your experience evolve into everyone just throwing projectiles at each other?
Well, I've always, again, the console we have doesn't have like the PlayStation online thingy, so I've always played it against CPU. So it didn't feel that way, but it sure felt like everybody's like running around like chickens with their head cut off. And
right, yeah, because you have 3 targets to hit. You don't know which one to hit, and unless you're on voice chat with like a pre-made team, it's really hard to coordinate.
So, yeah, all right. Speaking of hard to coordinate, let's talk about those co-op trolls that have been making the game painful for a couple of people. RedKain has mentioned that he's been. I think he's the one that says that he was playing with 2 people that were just waiting for the last minute, just doing HP attack, going out of their way to not use any strategy, like using HP attack with 0 brave. You're just pretty much being an all-around jerk. Mm-hmm. So, should there be a way to block people in game? I believe so.
I have a question about, I guess, the logistics of online co-op.
Yeah.
If I host a co-op and then there's 2 other people, and one of the other people is not responsive for a while, the game logs them out, right?
Yeah.
I don't remember. Is it? Yeah.
Yeah,
It
I
seems
think
like if
after
I
two,
am
3 turns,
hosting,
it's just
it seems like if I'm hosting, it would boot somebody, but if somebody else is hosting and then leaves their phone and doesn't do anything, then the game will just keep going, and it will take like how many ever seconds it gives them before it just Braves attacks or HP's attacks on
yeah,
its own.
because I believe it's relying on they're the link between the server and the battle itself. So I
Right.
believe that's the case.
Yeah, so I don't know what the I don't know what the parameters in terms of when it logs you off, when it turns you into single player mode. But yeah, I've been through some. I don't think I've been through any like trolling like RedKain was experiencing. I mean, it sounds like that was some really bad trolling. I don't know why
So
somebody would be doing that.
this is a good topic to bring up because we need a PSA here as well. So RedKain made a post on Reddit. It might be different from his question, but I saw RedKain make a post on Reddit, and a lot of people answered him, which is there is a very well-known co-op bug that persists even in Japan right now. I think they've never been able to fix it. And I don't know if you guys have come across it, but I've definitely seen it a handful of times, which is sometimes it will show somebody else's turn, but it's actually showing them it's your turn. It somehow happens. And so, like you said, when the timer runs out,
Right.
a brave attack should activate.
Yeah.
Right. But when it doesn't, that's when the bug shows up because nothing happens and they just time out, like you said. When they just time out, the bug is happening where there's a desync in the server and people get disconnected and nobody can press anything.
Yeah, but now you're talking about a shit happen kind of scenario. But I think RedKain was mentioning, like, again, people going out of their way to be fully fledged assholes.
Right, you're right. I just want people to be aware that
the AI is not going to do an HP attack at 0 brave.
Yeah, I just
we know that.
Yeah, I just want to be people aware that not everyone's trolling. But on the trolling subject, I don't know. Isn't it pretty hard? Pierre, you would know more to block people in this kind of game because I don't think I've ever played a mobile game where you could block people.
Oh no, it would be easy to do it. I mean, just have basically if the host is blocking you, the way it should work is that you can't join a room if you have someone blocking it, and if you're the host, someone that you've blocked cannot join the room. It should, or worst case scenario, when the host goes to start the game, there should be a pop-up saying, "Hey, your group, you can't go on with that group because there's people who don't like each other," something like that. The only thing is that the whole purpose of the game is to get people to add other people as friends.
Exactly.
Now try to imagine if you had like the same screen at the end of the battle, except you would have like add friend, block, jerk. It would, I think it would go against the community sense of the game. So I understand why they're not doing it, and at the same time I find it hard to believe that there's not even like a hidden menu or something, a way to say, because you can't report them. There's no option to like report players that do stuff like that. There's no option to, you're just stuck to either tolerate it or put yourself in airplane mode to kick yourself out of the battle and gain control of the two characters and lose out on the extra rewards. So
I think you're 100% right. You said what I wanted to say, which is basically if there was a block option, that would probably hurt the community, right? It's like having separate co-op things that everyone complains about. It's so hard to fill the room when there's for splitting it, not only boosted only, but just for fun. But you know how some co-ops are like, here's a 50, here's a 70, here's a 90.
Oh yeah, and try to go into the 50, like Force co-ops. Try to go into the 50 like 24 hours after it was released. Good luck.
I know, right?
It's not gonna happen.
That's what I'm saying. Like any small split in the community is already damaging. So block option would probably really suck. And as you said too, it's hard to block people because in this game you don't get report people. It's hard to report people because you don't get their
It's
player
impossible.
ID, and they change, and names are changeable at a drop of a hat. So how do you report somebody, right? It's but I want to warn everyone. There's this player called Manta out there who joins co-ops with a Setzer with no skills equipped, just to savage, just to troll people. So if you see a Manta with a Setzer join your co-op lobby, please disband immediately. This guy is a grade A jerk.
It is a problem. I have been in co-ops.
I've been in co-ops with him too. It's horrible.
I've been in co-ops with this Setzer with no abilities equipped.
His friend unit also has no abilities equipped, so you should delete him off your friends list too if you get a chance.
His all-in bonus is amazing.
So he's the sole reason why the block function should be in there.
Yeah.
It's the PSA, third PSA of this podcast. Remove Manta from your friends list and leave any co-op lobbies he's in.
Hey, by the way, Manta, thank you for hosting, for being a host while I was unavailable. This is how we treat. It's going to be all on Kriese.
This is how we treat our friends.
He's not online right now, right?
Kriese is being forced to tell us a story at the end of this stream as well.
So
tune in.
All right. Looking ahead, Mino's daddy is going to be coming back in the Lost chapter shortly, and he's already losing his shit all over it. That would be Final Fantasy XIV.
So we can gaze upon his beautiful blonde locks, like in the original Dissidia.
If anything, at the rate they're going, that's going to be a second form. Just like Paladin Cecil taking off his helmet, and recently in Japan, I don't know, FF14 spoiler warning, Ida takes off her helmet and becomes Lise.
What? Spoilers?
Yeah, so...
Wait, that's a whole different... Say that again.
Yeah, it felt like she took off her hat and became someone else.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. For any FF14 players out there.
I am no longer Pierre. I've put on my hood. I am now someone else.
She, in the FF14 story, Ida, this is the most nonsensical plot twist, but they're like, oh, this person you knew is Ida this whole time, takes off her helmet. Actually, I'm her younger sister who was posing to be as her. I don't know why they needed that twist in, because not that we knew the original person anyways, but I'm the younger sister posing as her. Here's a whole new character, the newest chapter character. Like we said, everyone in Arc 2 is regaining their memories. She regained her memories. Her taking off her helmet became a completely different character now.
Yeah, that's not weird.
Okay. So this is where I'm confused, because I don't play Final Fantasy 14.
Yes.
Lise is in Dissidia Opera Omnia in Japan, correct?
Yes.
But
newest character just came out.
They are different characters in Final Fantasy 14, but you're saying in Japan, Dissidia Opera Omnia, they are the same character.
No, it is like Dark Knight Cecil and Paladin Cecil. They're technically the same person, right? But they're separated into two characters in Opera Omnia.
So in 14, she is her sister.
She is quote unquote. She's been quote unquote impersonating her sister the whole time.
See, it says on Final Fantasy Wiki, assuming Ida's identity, Lise wore her sister mask and magically branded with her sister's tattoo.
Hold on. Kriese wants to correct me and say it is pronounced Lise. If that is true, Kriese, I'm sorry, because I was going on the Japanese pronunciation. Apparently in Japan she's pronounced Lise. So if it's Lise, then that's my bad. I don't have the English voiceovers on when I play FF14.
I was gonna do it like the French way, Lise, but anyway.
Oh yeah?
Yeah, that's how I roll.
Yeah, so for those who don't know, since it'll be relevant
She's
and we're
pretty.
on the topic. Yeah. Oh, you're looking it up. Yeah. So for those who you don't know, these new characters, for better or for worse, you cannot use you can't use both versions at the same time. So you won't be able to have Paladin Cecil and Dark Knight Cecil in your party at the same time, and you won't be able to have Lise and Ida in this party at the same time.
So story-wise, once Paladin Cecil shows up, in the story we won't see Dark Knight Cecil, correct?
Right.
I would assume so.
Yes.
And just like that, once we see Lise in the story, we will no longer see Yida. Is Lise better than Yida? Because
Of course. Are you kidding me? It's not a contest.
Because that
Of
would
course.
be
They're gonna the trend so far is the new version's always better than the version for now. Paladin Cecil blows Dark Knight Cecil out of the fucking water. And then what's even sadder for Ida and Lise is that Ida just got her EX a month or two ago. And people were like, oh, she's pretty usable. And then Lise comes out and just completely crushes Ida. And it's like, okay, well, like, how are they going to balance this? Are they going to take turns being stronger than the other? I don't like this exclusive character concept.
So who is Cater secretly? Because is she going to get a better character version of
Cater
herself?
is secretly a bag, and she's going to increase your inventory slots by 5.
Awesome.
Yeah,
750.
right. More you. I would rather have 5 more inventory slots than Cater on my roster. I'm sure you feel the same way.
It's a whole nother new character. It's just 500 inventory slots. You got to level her up though. Polish that leather on that bag. That's a nice bag.
Ramux asked, did they update Dark Cecil after Paladin Cecil joined? They did. Dark Cecil has his 70 awakening now. Paladin Cecil does not. And Dark Cecil, of course, leapfrogs and becomes stronger than Paladin Cecil with the awakening. But that's why I'm like, is that the trend now? If they have more of these exclusive characters, are they just going to leapfrog each other? Like, here, the crappier version gets this update, then the next update goes to the better version. Like, I don't know if I like that.
Julia is going to turn into that little girl, right?
Yeah, right. Like, so I'm saying, like, it sucks because if they're gonna be milking ideas for characters, which it looks like they're starting to, it could be, oh hey, Holy Dragoon Kain is now an alternate character to Kain.
There is a whole, no doubt. Yeah.
Or like Kid Rydia is now, or Adult Hope are now separate characters. You know, it's gonna suck
Hope.
if they go that route. It'd be understandable.
That is an alternate costume in Final Fantasy Record Keepers.
Yeah, I know, right? So I'm like, is cross-dressing Cloud going to be a completely different character?
Completely different.
So I mean, like, and if that's the point, why even sell skins?
No abilities.
Like, how do you make a skin for Dark Knight Cecil and Paladin Cecil, and then a skin for Ida and Lise? It's gonna get, and it'd be one thing if we could use them all together, but by restricting party building because they can't be together, then the game's going to have a lot more limitations. I'm not sure I like this direction they're going.
Macnol is saying Petrified Palom is a new character. Oh boy.
Well, to be fair, we are talking about a year from now, there are only 2 of these types of characters, and there's still a ton of characters that have yet to be released.
General Leo.
Yeah. No General Leo, no Red 13.
Will there be a live General Leo and a dead General Leo? Like, is that how they're going to play this from now on?
Well, where are they in Japan? Just kind of briefly going through. So I mean, obviously you just have Final Fantasy 1, but you could have potentially other characters from Final Fantasy 1, just base character classes.
Dear God, no.
Oh, GRW18 wants to say, yet Gunner Yuna is still a costume and not its own character. That is true. You should be outraged that got relegated to a costume.
Well, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Aren't they shooting themselves in the foot? Let me rephrase that. Is there more money in costumes, or is there more money in rebranding the characters as a new character and getting gem cells?
Well, I don't know about the Yida Lise thing, but you can understand Dark Knight Cecil and Paladin Cecil.
Yeah, they have different move sets.
They're different characters, right? Yeah, I mean, so that's not going to be a costume. I don't know. It looks like Lise is still a like monk, right? But
yeah, so it's
different powers.
What they did is, so if anyone's familiar with MMOs, which I'm sure most people are, is that when the expansions come out, they get new moves, right? So Ida has the base moves and Lise has the expansion moves.
Got it.
So it's really stupid and weird. Like you said, you're right. That doesn't warrant a new character because they're both monks still. Dark Knight and Paladin have very different movesets, which I respect. But like, how much can they keep adding? Because for example, Ida's EX gave her a chakra system that was introduced in the expansion. You build up chakra, you release it for a super attack. Lise has the exact same mechanic. So, I don't know how they're going to keep going.
Calling it this time of the
year? Oh, and as for who's left, someone compiled a list.
There's tons of characters.
Not real. If main playable characters, apparently in FF2 there's Guy. FF4 there's Edward and Sid.
Well, there's about probably shouldn't say anything about Guy. Anyway, there's a lot of other characters in FF2 we don't have that you do get to play.
That's true, but they're all starting to become like supporting characters instead of main characters, right?
Right.
Yeah, they're coming up against the wall, I think. Yeah.
I think they're still. I mean, because they're still bringing out new characters in Final Fantasy Record Keeper.
But that game has jumped the shark a long time ago.
Slow it down a ton.
Well,
like they used to release like 50 characters a year, and now I think it's like 6, right?
Yeah, because there's no one else.
But there is a lot of characters. I mean, there's 14 playable characters in Type 0, and we haven't even gotten all the expansions to all the different games. So, I mean, yeah, you might be digging into the ditch a little bit, but I don't know.
All right, let's move on a little bit. So, yeah, we were talking about Kain Lost Chapter. That's where this whole thing started.
Let's talk about Kain. Okay.
Well, we did. We actually.
We have a Lost Chapter coming up, and we're gonna awaken Kain. He gets better.
Mark, you want to plug some DFFOO content creators?
No, that's just the list that we have that you can, if you watch the show notes, all of our friends. So yeah, but do check out, our friend Kriese Xerink does a lot of good stuff. Our friend Manta does a lot of stuff on YouTube. Check him out. Non-FFOO related stuff, and that's always a good time. We already hyped Broadway, and he's gonna have a lot of good times with the new baby around. And Macnol's doing some cool stuff on Reddit with the collecting the different teams. So, just check that kind of stuff out. But
all right. So again, the upcoming events on the 18th, there's Kain. On the 21st, it's Deuce coming into the game, and I think that pretty much wraps it, guys. So unless you have other things you want to plug, that's gonna be it for us.
Did you get all yours, Mark? I got one last thing.
I'm done.
Okay, mine's is question of the week. Please tell me your most ridiculous alt FF ideas, because in Twitch chat we're getting flooded by them, such as Esper Terra or Opera Celis as alternate characters when they regain their memories. So please let us know what your most ridiculous concept is. Right now,
I want to see Galuf turn into Strago.
I want to see a good version of Sabin. I want Sabin to wake up and realize he's good. So that'd be nice.
Yeah, good luck with that.
All right, that's all I got.
All right, well, that was episode number 46 of the Crystal Chronicles, recorded on April 14. That's about it. My name is Pierre. I was with Mark and Mino. Good evening, people. And don't forget that from now on, we're recording at 9 p.m. Eastern Daylight Saving Time. So that's EDT. So, yeah, you might want to check your clock if you want to be live with us on twitch.tv/thecrystalchronicle. So that pretty much does it for us. Have a good one.